Next on Worcester News tonight, a central Massachusetts man is accused of trying to gouge a Worcester police officer's eyes during a traffic stop. Plus, the Red Cross announcing they are in an emergency need of blood donations, how you can help. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. Worcester is ranked among one of the most well-run cities in America. It's according to a new WalletHub study. The best and worst run cities in America study focused on 6 different service categories. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now with the details. Cam?
Brittany, the list aims to show how efficient each city is. WalletHub says the goal of this study is to point out how effective or ineffective local leadership can be.
City leaders say Worcester is in the middle of a renaissance, and a new study agrees, ranking Worcester as one of the top-run cities in the U.S.
They're working really hard to provide quality, critical services that the residents really need, like education, public safety, public works, parks.
Personal finance website WalletHub placed Worcester 50th out of 150 in the 2018 edition of Best and Worst Run Cities in America, finishing 6th in all of New England. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce says the city is in a much better spot today.
I think we've made great strides in the city over that 10 years. You know, their bond rating is up. They are not taxing to the max.
WalletHub's examination focused on 6 key factors: financial stability, education, health, safety, economy, and infrastructure and pollution. Residents we spoke with were mixed on how the city is doing.
There are other major improvements that need to also be looked out to.
They have a lot of good services for veterans, medical, education. There is progress. Unfortunately, we have the heroin epidemic.
The ranking puts the city above Springfield and Boston, the only other Massachusetts cities included.
Worcester is the 2nd largest city in New England, and it's about time that we act like it. And I think, we're really acting like it now, and people are starting to take notice.
Now, some notable cities Worcester beat out this year: Providence, Rhode Island, and Hartford, Connecticut. This year's first place winner, Nampa, Idaho. Brittany?
Thank you, Cam. Dive teams in Thailand completed the 2nd phase of an operation to free a youth soccer team trapped in a flooded cave. And closer to home, the Worcester Fire Department's dive team say it's an extremely dangerous situation. Deputy Chief Martin Dyer was on the department's dive team for 8 years. He says in Thailand there are many obstacles, including visibility and the distance the divers and children have to travel. He says the most difficult would be teaching the children who have never dived before how to dive in an extremely difficult situation, even for a normal diver. Chief Dyer says their dive team has never experienced something as dangerous.
Some of them can be very challenging, depending on weather, depth. When we get up to Lake Quinsigamon around the bridges, there can be construction debris and everything, which definitely makes it challenging and dangerous, but nowhere near the challenge that these people are going through in Thailand right now. Cave diving is a specialty upon itself that requires really specialized training to accomplish.
8 boys have now been freed from the cave. Dyer says all involved deserve much needed credit for their heroic efforts. A traffic stop turns dangerous early Sunday morning. Worcester police say the driver tried to gouge out an officer's eyes, and inside the car, the police found an illegal weapon and replica rifle. Our Roslyn Flaherty has more.
A traffic stop turns violent in Worcester. Police say a driver grabbed an officer by the head and pushed his thumbs into the officer's eyes.
Very dangerous situation.
Police say they pulled over a car with 3 people inside when they saw it go through a stop sign at Water and Grafton Street. The officer called for backup, concerned the driver was concealing a weapon.
He asked him to step out when he had a second officer. The driver refused. He locked the doors, shut the window.
When the driver, identified as 24-year-old Trevor Borgeson, reached into a backpack trying to grab what officers thought to be the barrel of a firearm, police broke the window. A struggle followed, and police say Borgeson tried to gouge the officer's eyes and kicked him in the face.
He got pepper sprayed. He was kicking and fighting later on, got tased by one of the officers. Finally, they took him into custody.
Police say Borgeson had an illegal knife in his waistband, which he was reaching for during the struggle. They also found a replica AR-15 style rifle in the car. People who live in the area say they are shocked to hear about the incident.
That's the first time I've actually heard about somebody getting their eyes gouged out, especially like during a simple traffic stop.
It's been very peaceful and quiet. I'm surprised that this is kind of going on.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
2 JetBlue flight attendants jumped into action to save a dog in need on a flight from Florida to Worcester. Darcy, the French bulldog, started having trouble breathing on the plane, so the 2 flight attendants brought Darcy a small oxygen tank and mask, and the little dog got better. JetBlue released a statement saying, in part, "We all want to make sure everyone has a safe and comfortable flight, including those with 4 legs." The group trying to save the former Notre Dame des Canadiens church is stepping up its efforts. They are asking the state to review the planned demolition under the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act. Monday, the Save Notre Dame Alliance filed a notice of project change with the state's Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Their hope is Secretary Matthew Beaton will accept public comments on the need for additional review of the demolition of Notre Dame. The Alliance says as part of the City Square project, the church has benefited from state funding, and before demolition can happen, a review needs to take place. They say with demolition looming, they are asking for a fast answer. The sudden discharge of immigrant Army recruits is surprising to some in Worcester. One local immigration attorney says some dealing with this may not have many options.
I think this is the first time that we reneged on an offer that we gave.
The Associated Press first reported the Army is quietly discharging immigrants who were promised paths to citizenship. It's something Worcester immigration attorney Randy Feldman hasn't seen before.
For the people who were promised green cards, it's truly unbelievable that you would say, here's the deal, you come, you serve, you help us, and then we renege on our part of the deal, and we're not going to give you a green card.
Feldman doesn't have any clients dealing with this yet, but says the dozens of immigrants who are may not have a lot of legal options.
It's very hard to sue the government, right? The government protects itself very much on lawsuits. It's just a moral reckoning that the U.S. government is failing on, but maybe not a legal reckoning. I don't know the details of the contract.
The Army reportedly recruited the immigrants to increase language skills. The program was ended in 2016, reportedly due to security concerns.
And I'm thinking, you don't let anybody join unless you've done every security check known to man and women before you let them join. So who knows what's going on? It's just not very fair for these people.
And Congressman James McGovern responding to the discharging of immigrants in the Army. In a statement sent to Worcester News Tonight, McGovern says, "From the American Revolution to the global war on terror, immigrants have always served with distinction in our armed forces. Their contributions have always been celebrated, often through a path to citizenship in the country they've sworn to protect." The town of Auburn will be combating mosquito numbers Tuesday. The Central Mass Mosquito Control Project will be spraying sections of the town. Street listings include Anderson Way, Chapin Way, Drake Circuit, Leicester Street, and more. The spraying comes after positive West Nile virus samples were found in the town and in neighboring Worcester. The Department of Public Health says no human cases have been confirmed yet this year. The Red Cross announcing Monday they are in an emergency need of all blood types. They say typically during the summer months they receive fewer donations, and there was a big decline during the week of the 4th of July. Account Executive Catherine Lawler says they are using more blood than they are receiving. In Massachusetts, the Red Cross needs to collect 400 units of blood per day to keep up with the local need.
The summer is always challenging. A lot of people travel during the summer, especially during the 4th of July week. We saw a lot of travel. Additionally, we rely a lot on high schools and colleges during the rest of the year. So during the summertime, we don't have that strong supply from the schools. And yeah, we did see even more of a decline than we typically do over the 4th of July week this particular year.
Lawler says the Red Cross fell 15,000 units short nationwide this past week.